Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football, and we're back again with another video. Today's video, ladies and gentlemen, it's Arsenal versus everyone. Mikel Arteta versus the Pgmol. We have to talk about the issues at hand at Arsenal Football Club, and why are we finding ourselves in a situation where we cannot get as many goals as we did at the start of last season? Why have we not started as well as we started last season? Is it the midfield? Is it the attack? What is the underlying issues that has gotten Arsenal fans upset at this moment in time and has us dropping points and losing in consecutive games? It's kind of crazy. Let's get into it. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the content, you can leave a super chat also. That very much helps the channel out massively. And also super thanks if you're watching on the playback. But shout out to all you guys who've been supporting the channel. And please do leave a like on the video. Let's get this video past at least 100 likes. But today, I got Curran in the building, and the link to his channel, Ball Over Passion, is in the description. I got my guy Gunnar Souls in the house, who's been my code D for the last couple of months. And I got Brandon, True Gunner TV. Link is in the description for his channel also. And we're also going to have one more person jumping on. But before he jumps on, you guys are going to see who he is in a second. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. I don't think there's anything that we need to start with. Let's just go straight off the dome today. No script, nothing. We go for an hour. If we don't cover everything, we don't cover it. But I want to start. What was everyone's raw reactions after the game? Did you feel hard done by it, or did you think we caused our own mistakes? That's where I want to start. What do you guys think? I'm going to start with Curran.
A bit of both.
A bit of both?
Like, I mean, we didn't create enough chances, so you can't really say like, oh, we got completely screwed. We had that game won. I mean, there was only 3 shots on target the entire game. So I just think that we're not creating enough chances, and we'll get into that why that is in a second. And one thing you mentioned, Igal, was what is the main reason? I think that is the key question, because it's not just one reason. There are multiple different reasons why we're not creating chances and why we're not putting chances away. And yeah, it's interesting to think about what's been going on. Not just this game, not the West Ham game, but even going back to City, even going back to before that. This has been a constant theme, and we'll get into it. But there's quite a lot to say. And obviously, it's not just midfield. There's also the striker issue. No Jesus and Nketiah not being good enough right now. I personally thought that maybe it's just showing that it's got the time's come now. It's not like it's a here or there anymore. But there's so much to get into. The refs obviously were the refs. I still think it was a push on Gabriel. Both his feet are on the ground when he's pushed. It's not like he's falling over, is it? Both his legs are on the floor. And if you're thinking about it, if you look at some of the decisions, the Bernardo Silva one, the penalty where he literally extends his body out when Granit Xhaka has just like a little bit of his shirt, and that's a penalty. The Brighton one. The Tottenham one away in the top 4 race. Like there's so many we can get into that it just shows that the only thing we ask for is consistency. And if there's consistency, fair enough. But when there's no consistency and people don't call it out, I just don't understand. Because when you have Newcastle and Liverpool and whoever other fans go on and they say, oh well, Jorginho and Bruno is maybe a thing, but Havertz should have got sent off. Fine, Havertz gets sent off, Bruno gets sent off. At least both decisions go the right way. Then what do you say? Oh, but you're just crying. No, it's about getting the right decisions so the game is, actually adjudicated properly. It's not about just, oh, my team. I want my team to get the best results. I want my team to. There are things across the board, and I think we have to wake up as a football community and say to each other that I don't give a shit if it's Spurs, Chelsea, City, whoever. If there's a bad decision, there's a bad decision, and you've got to call it out. So until we do that, until there's the ability to do that, we're never going to go anywhere. But yeah, we have to take it upon ourselves to understand why we lost, as well as be aware of the situations outside of our control that we should feel aggrieved about. But the main focus is on ourselves. We have to focus on why we lost that game, because we lost that game.
Can I just quickly add on the refereeing bit? I think the Premier League made its bed. Klopp came out after the Spurs game went on a bit of a, not necessarily a rant, but he kind of called out Pgmol for how they officiated that game. I don't think enough support was given in that moment. And I think that was the perfect opportunity for all Premier League managers, or potentially even the clubs themselves, to come out and go, do you know what? Let's back this and let's demand change.
Everyone's sat on the fence, though.
No,
Everyone's sat on the
this
fence.
is the thing, though. Like, the problem is when things go wrong for your club, and that's the only time you want to speak, nothing's going to happen. Like, I do hope, like, even despite this may sound hypocritical from myself because I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm hoping more managers, and now after Arteta's ranted, that more managers come out and support Arteta, even though, yes, we didn't support Klopp. But I am hoping that there's a turn.
No, but we did support Klopp. As an online fan base, we
No.
out
I'm talking, man, because like for us, yes, we
even Mikel.
But I'm saying not enough. I don't think enough managers did it.
No, that I hear.
So yeah, what I'm saying is, this is the time where I think when decisions just go wrong, we need the managers to come out and support each other, like a bit of a union in a way. Because yes, we can talk out, yes, we can have a voice, but I feel like the fans' voices right now is probably not as superior as like the men in front of the camera, like the managers, the players, potentially even club officials coming out and demanding it, because we know like rule changes have to be voted in. So they could potentially say to FA or UEFA, whoever manages it all, to say what is going on. Because the reality is, even up until this point, we still don't have a decision on whether semi-automated offsides are coming in. So it's like for a league that's supposedly meant to be one of the best in the world, one of the most viewed leagues, why are we the last to get everything? And also, why aren't we talking out on these things? To take the fine, I'm sure they can afford to pay these fines. But also, what are they going to do? Ban every single manager? Ban every single club? They can't do that. Also, all it takes is actually the top 6 to rally together. All we need is the top 6 to say, this is what we want. And they'll be like, right, okay, we'll listen to you. And that's all I'm asking for. I just want people to band together and call out the bad officiating. One at a time is going to do jack shit. And that's why I say they made their bed. They've got to deal with it.
Look at Wolves this season. Wolves this season have had, like, I think 3 or 4, the Onana one, the one against Newcastle. They've had multiple things go on. And they've just had to hold it, and no one's really come out in support of them. And it's
that's
just
the problem.
That's
what
the
I'm
issue.
saying.
But I just want to make sure that we don't focus all on the referees, because we lost that game of football.
Let's get the referee conversation out of the side. We can all sit here and agree Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off for the elbow. Now the next thing is, are you guys going to also say that Kai Havertz should have been sent off?
Yes,
because I think at the end of the day, that's a red card. I'll be honest.
And this is the thing: people won't be honest about it. People will say, "Oh well, it's an orange/red." No, mate. If there's contact from the front of the foot, Brandon, you're muted, by the way. The front is, if there's contact on the front foot, not the leading trailing leg, but the front foot on the person above the ankle, that's a red card. And there was, like, he clipped him.
Well, Curran, let's take that challenge out of the equation for now. There was a challenge in the second half where, again, he goes sliding in. He's nowhere near the ball. So even if that is a bookable offence, that first half one, that one in the second half is definitely a second bookable offence.
No, I hear it. I mean, but this is the thing.
Is it?
Yeah, 100%. He was nowhere near the ball, Miguel. He was taking the man. That's it.
I'm sure he touched the ball. I'm
you know what? Maybe I'm being biased here, but I felt like the referee didn't give it because he seen the trailing leg took out the player and not the lead leg.
I don't know. I mean,
but that's when VAR should intervene and say it's a red card. They're allowed to do that.
My thing is very simple. That I don't mind if you send Kai Havertz off. No problem with that. Right?
You have to send.
You've got to send Bruno off.
But the issue is, the Bruno conversation may not happen if Kai Havertz was sent off.
That's true.
Because he doesn't. But the thing is, right? It does not matter. It does. Is it a red card or not? How has he got to the point? It's the 86th minute, and he's only getting a yellow card there as well. Like, I don't understand. So my whole thing is,
yesterday wasn't on the referees. Let's be absolutely real as well. Like, yesterday, we just weren't good enough.
We weren't good enough, no. And I've gone into quite a lot of detail on Twitter, on podcasts. I went on Hassam yesterday and talked about it in length. There's multiple reasons why. And I feel as football fans, we're only we only allow one reason to be the main reason. Oh, we lost because of this, we lost because of that, we lost because of this. There's multiple reasons. Hello, Dylan. Hope you're good. The main thing is, for me, I think that this whole "we got bullied" narrative is complete BS.
That's BS.
It's complete.
No, we didn't.
The whole that pisses me off more than anything because it's so cliche. It's so like
it's from people that didn't watch the game.
Yeah,
I'll completely
it's
honest
like,
with you,
it was a
because
physical
they see
battle.
Newcastle.
Arsenal weren't up
They
for
see
it.
Newcastle
I
at
heard
St
that a lot.
James's Park. They see Newcastle at St James's Park. They see Joe Linton. They see Bruno Guimaraes, and they just assume that we just got bullied. And then they see the narrative and like, oh well, people crying about the referees, and then they assume that it's because we got bullied. No, genuinely, we didn't get bullied. It was the fact of the matter is one, we couldn't put together a specific. We couldn't put chances together. That was the main thing. We couldn't put chances together. That was the main reason. And why can't you put chances together? Because you don't have people in the front line, basically getting the spacing right in the final third. You've got Declan Rice, who's trying to be like a defensive midfielder as well as the left 8 as well. Like, he's doing everything. Like, he has to do everything. And there's no one.
That leads into the question of what's the problem.
I'm getting into it. It's because
let Brendan jump in before we get into the problem. Sure. Brendan, what are you saying?
We could reel the problems off, to be fair, but in terms of the referee, the Pgmol, you know, I echo basically everything that Curran and Gunnar Solskjaer said so far. You know, yes, the goal shouldn't have stood, in my opinion. I still stand on that today. You know,
there's 4 different violations.
I mean, you can look at the first reason, right? People will say, was the ball out? Was the ball in? There's no conclusive evidence to say the ball was in or out. But if you go back to Manchester United versus Brighton, and the Rashford incident where the ball was apparently out, they said the same thing. There's no conclusive evidence. So what we did was we ruled it as not a goal. So they should do the same thing again and be consistent with it. And my whole view on this, right? Because I'm fed up with it, not just from Arsenal.
Do you know what their reasoning was, Brandon? Let me put it on the screen for you. This was their reasoning for the incidents. So the Bruno Guimaraes elbow, he did not use his arm as a weapon. It's not nice, but no more than a yellow card, they said.
I'll tell you what, right? Just that excuse there, right? I don't know who's written that. I don't know if they had Dana White in the VAR room or whatever, because that's something Dana White would have been proud of, you know, UFC.
But the thing is, right, the elbow to the back of the head is illegal in MMA as well.
Shouldn't happen.
Like, genuinely, there's no sport.
It's illegal in every combat sport. You're not allowed to hit the back of the head.
There's no sport. Not forget combat.
And we know why.
In the world that allows you an elbow at the back.
Because it can make you. It could literally paralyze you.
It can kill you more than anything. It can.
Yeah.
The other thing is the fact.
Let me just pine off these and then we move on from this. Then we can always talk about the ball out of bounds. You want to know something? This right here, to the naked eye, I get why they didn't want to do it, because they didn't want to get this wrong. They were worried about getting it wrong.
Can I ask something on that?
We saw that Spain-Japan. I think it was that Spain-Japan game. Yeah, you see that ball there. That angle don't show you. There could be a part of the ball which bends over, which I'm telling you, that ball is probably in play. That ball is probably in play.
I'm just
going to be more annoyed about that. Forget blaming refs. Ben White just completely switches off.
By process of elimination, we all agree on the elbow. We all agree on the ball. We all agree on Kai Havertz.
The whole ball being out thing, right? This comes back to.
Can I just quickly ask a VAR question on that? So, all right, if the ball's in or out, right? Isn't it an on-field decision that stands, because VAR can only rule out a conclusive?
Yeah.
It has to. Otherwise, the on-pitch decision stays. Which the on-pitch decision.
But then why was it given as a goal for the Rashford goal then?
Yeah, exactly. The on-field decision.
I'm just trying to find out what is the actual VAR ruling on this, because I just want to know, is it the rules or is it the referees that are being?
I don't think they know themselves, bro. They're making it up as they go along, in my opinion. Because again,
I think right. I think so. Cool. So I was at the game. Yeah, we see how long it takes. Yeah, right. That ball, like they've probably looked at it and they've probably zoomed in and they've probably tried to work out how much of the ball is between. Like they've probably done loads of measurements, and then thought, right, we've got 2 other things to maybe rule out the goal for. Maybe we'll have a look at them, and then neither of them have come through either.
But what have they measured? That's like, I understand what your point
Again,
is.
it comes
What have they
back to
measured?
the point of being consistent. They ruled out Marcus Rashford's goal against Brighton because the ball was, they didn't know whether it was in or out because it was inconclusive. Similar situation here. They don't know whether the ball's in or out because they haven't got the angle. So why don't they rule the goal out? And then you go to the second point, right?
Let's go to the second point.
Is Gabriel fouled? If that's anywhere else on the pitch, if that's anywhere else on the pitch, that is a free kick. I don't care what anybody says. He's got 2 hands on the back of his shoulders.
This is their excuse. There's 2 hands on his back, but we cannot we can be sure that it's a push.
So last week, right, in the Manchester derby, Rodri won a penalty because Højlund was running and they just happened to touch each other. So if that's how soft a penalty can be given, then this surely is a foul. I'm just going off of consistency. I'm not asked about whether if they want to give it, then they have to give everything. They can't just pick and choose which soft fouls, which soft touches are going to be given and what aren't going to be given.
Just to move on from this topic as quick as possible, can we all agree? I don't give a shit about the offside or onside. My issue is the push. My issue is not
even handballed it.
And I was gonna get to the second part, the handball. But I seen Team News Ticks tweeted about it. They didn't even consider the handball.
Of course they
didn't. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, I don't understand
here's what I've got to say about this whole thing, because it's not just Arsenal. It's every single football club in the Premier League are suffering from this. Mm-hmm. Either you implement the best technology available, which we see in La Liga, we see in the World Cup, right? Or
how does the bankrupt league
you scrap VAR altogether, because VAR was brought in to stop all of this inconclusiveness and, you know, to make the correct decisions 95% of the time. They're basically doing the same thing. It's no different to what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'll be honest with you,
I think we complained less before VAR. We complained less. I don't think we spoke about referees.
Because the thing is, before VAR, you could say, "Oh, the referee's made a mistake there. He's human, right?" With this shit, they can go over shit 9, 10, 11 times.
I think the major issue is we're seeing the same replays and coming up with different conclusions. Even rivals are backing that conclusion, but the referees are seeing it completely different.
No, but the thing is, we have to do this
again. Look at that, right? Look at these 2 images here. What's the difference between them 2? Absolutely.
Well, Rashford's one's clearly in play. The other one's a bit 50-50.
But there you go. But they ruled Rashford's one off.
But the thing is,
they ruled Rashford's one off the pitch.
Yeah.
If you look at the Newcastle one, he's literally about to touch the ball. So this isn't the amount that the ball has finally gone out, because he's still controlling the ball. He's not fully in control of the ball, pushing it back. The ball's still coming onto his foot. So like, it's even more further out than this.
By the way, beIN Sport had the technology to actually check if this was in or out, but the Premier League couldn't do it.
No, because they don't want the chips in the ball.
Yeah, it's madness to me. It's just, it doesn't make sense. How do broadcasting companies, right, have more technology than the Premier fucking league?
They're the ones with the camera angles. They're just doing the recording.
Yeah, but that means you have access to it. The Premier League are giving you the broadcasting rights. You're like, yeah, I want your cameras. It's as simple as that.
I don't know if it's as simple as that.
I think we've complained enough about referees. Can we talk about the actual football now?
Yeah, but again, I'll go back to it, right? In reality, we can complain about the Pgmol, the referees. Again, I echo what Curran said. We didn't do anywhere enough to win that game. It's as simple as that.
Newcastle didn't do enough to win the game either.
No, they didn't. They didn't. In my opinion,
that was a 0-0 draw ruined by.
In my opinion, both teams cancelled each other out. Both teams have got very good defenses, and both teams' attacking lines are just not great. Like, we had 1 shot on target. I think Newcastle had 2 shots on target in the entire game. Like, there was nothing between us. Absolutely nothing. And
our forward line's not great because.
Is it the midfield or is it the forward line? That's the question.
It's
Well,
both.
well, Saka's clearly carrying an injury.
Both?
He's clearly
It's
not
both,
at it. Saka's
yes.
been useless all season. That's just the truth. He's been rubbish.
It's not that he's been
awful.
useless. He's just
He's bad.
he just hasn't
The
been-
guy's been terrible. He's been terrible.
he's been
this season.
he's been
Like,
producing end product, but he's not
He
been
hasn't
good
had
at
one. He hasn't had one game
minutes.
where I've gone, "Wow, Saka today." Not
Yeah.
once. But
Yeah, I agree.
again, and instead, and Arteta, knowing that Saka is a player who we need to rotate. Now it's getting to that point. Instead of going out and signing good quality depth or a player in his position to challenge him, he went and gave Reece Nelson a new. I don't know how much he's paying. You have Reece Nelson a new contract, and he doesn't even trust the guy. He does not trust him. So why has he signed him on a new deal? This is what I can't understand.
It's just this whole summer, right?
It's
The
been a
only
failure.
deal that we did well was Rice.
That was it.
We messed up. I still don't think Havertz is good enough. I said that in July, right? So it's not before Gabriel is looking for it. Is this no? Come on, man, get this off the screen. Get it off the screen. It's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. Like genuinely, like I understand that you're a Newcastle fan and fair play, but Gabriel's looking for it. Gabriel is literally has two hands on his back. Two hands, as Sol said earlier. Manchester derby. Hoyland doesn't even have two hands on him. He has one hand on him, and Rodri's running, and they called it. So I'm not hearing. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not on. Okay. But back to the point. Back to the point in hand. We needed to. A lot of things could have been solved by Timber. Like I know it's an injury thing, but the central access issues. No, seriously, I'll tell you why.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, I think with Partey fit, Timber fit, Jesus fit, everyone fit. I think Odegaard there. I think we win that game. I think we genuinely we haven't even been able to see that. I also think at the same time, I think with our full strength team, we do win that game. But that doesn't mean that I think Arteta's done a good job of like building this squad because we're in a situation where without them we can't survive. So we need to be able to have people that are adequate replacements.
But
and
you want to know
Vieira,
something?
Jorginho, Havertz, these are not adequate replacements for those players.
I'm gonna let Curran land in a second, but Brendan, you were gonna say something before. What were we disagreeing with?
Yeah, I disagree that Timber changes the whole dimension of this team because, yeah, Timber offers us something that we're not seeing right now, but Zinchenko offers pretty much the same thing. Now, Zinchenko,
they don't.
Let
he does
Curran
in a way, right?
Let Brandon finish.
let Curran explain what he meant now.
Yeah, let me
No,
land.
let Brandon.
Bro,
finish.
let Brandon finish. Let Brandon.
Our issue is we don't have an 8. That's our issue, and to bring it back to Curran's point, and even Dylan as well, we've made some massive mistakes in this transfer window in the summer, i.e., and I don't want to keep mentioning his name, Kai Havertz. You see it in the Newcastle game, right? He played in that Odegaard role in the Newcastle game. Now, I still sit here now and I still say, I don't care what anybody says, because he's made a few 5-yard passes and he ran around hard doesn't mean he had a good game. But what I would say,
I thought it was one of his best performances.
But what I would, this is the point, Miguel. What I would say is he looked more comfortable and more natural in that position than what he has in any other position that we've played him in. So to me, that's also the role that he used to play for Bayern Leverkusen as well. Coming off that right hand side in that right half space, he don't look comfortable in that left eight space. He don't look comfortable.
That's because that's Odegaard's position. Right? I think Odegaard needs to go to the left.
He's not the answer, right? Kai Havertz, Fabio Vieira is not the answer, right? Declan Rice in that role is not really the answer. He's having to do it all at the moment, but he's not really the answer. Emil Smith-Rowe, not the answer. So we've left ourselves in a position where I can't believe I'm actually saying this, right? But we miss Granit Xhaka massively, hugely, right? And we need to go out in January and fix this because I don't see a solution for Mikel Arteta. People say about, but we've got Partey out, and when Partey comes back and you've got Partey and Declan Rice in the midfield,
it's not good enough.
It's going to be different.
No, Partey is unreliable.
The thing is even if Partey was reliable, right? Both Partey and Rice excel playing that lone 6 role. Declan Rice is better at mopping up in the midfield, and stopping teams than what he is going forward. So even then, that's not really a solution.
I slightly disagree. Well, yeah, I'll let you finish.
Okay.
It's not really a solution. So in January, we have to go out and address this. And look, we all sat here and said in January we need a striker. We need a striker as well. So now that's two positions that we need to go out and desperately address in January. But in my opinion, like I can't understand this, and I don't know whether anybody else can put their finger on this or what. Right? I think we do have an in-house solution to this.
And
People probably won't like it, right? But the only solution that I can see is you play Tomiyasu at left back, like he is doing, and you play Zinchenko in the 8 because he's better in midfield, and he plays in and around that area anyway when he's playing left back. You're not having to rely on him defensively because you've got Tomiyasu doing the defensive work. Why hasn't Arteta tried that? Do you know what I mean? Why haven't we seen that?
Because he wants this inverted.
But Tomiyasu's doing the inverted anyway.
But he's not very good at it. Tomiyasu's not as comfortable with the ball at his feet. Zinchenko is a defender. I think Newcastle, I saw the last straw. You might not have been able to see it, but from where we were sat, yeah. So we're looking straight at the picture. I think Murphy. Someone touches the ball past him, and I promise you, he starts about 3 meters behind him. He could have easily overtaken him for pace as well. For some reason, he allows him. I don't know why. David Raya gets there, but Jacob Murphy just allows it. Zinchenko, he cannot play in fullback because like we haven't even played against any like real tough wingers yet. Like if we play in the Champions League and he has to come up against Vinicius Junior, if he has to come up like anyone decent, oh my god.
To add to your point then, Billy, this is why, hang on, just real quick before you move on. This is why I say the perfect role for Zinchenko is midfield. In that left 8 space, because you don't have to rely on him defensively, which is, we all know, defensively he's not great at all. And at the moment, let's be real with it, Declan Rice is the only one in midfield at this moment in time. Jorginho's not doing anything. Havertz isn't doing anything when he plays there. Vieira, etc. You know, so you don't have to rely on Zinchenko defensively. You can say to Zinchenko, look, you've got a free role in that left 8 space to go and do and what you do best, which is hurt teams with your passing ability. And that's what we need. And maybe he'll come up with a couple of goals as well. I think he could play that Granit Xhaka role better than anybody else that we currently have in that team.
He done it for Ukraine and scores. So I do
exactly.
agree.
Why hasn't Mikel Arteta tried him in that midfield?
Because he wants the inverted stuff, but he doesn't really trust Tomiyasu with the ball at his feet and moving into midfield. That's probably it. That's the only thing I can think.
Maybe he views Zinchenko more valuable in that left back role, and he wants the right 8 to be doing something different. That left 8 to do something different.
Then if that's the case, though, then I'm sorry to say it, but he's wrong. He's wrong because
maybe he needs to change the system.
We see it last season, right?
Can I be honest, right? You know, like
I don't view what Zinchenko does and what Xhaka does as similar at all, or what that.
But that's the thing, though. I think there's an evolution happening that we're going beyond what Xhaka was doing for us, and I think what Arteta's tried to do, he's playing it too pragmatic for me at the moment, and there's not enough creative freedom given, and it's too much like. It's kind of pre-planned. This is how we're going to move. So but I'll be honest with you, like when I look at that midfield, right, and people aren't going to like this, but up until January, personally, I would play Elneny. I just think when Elneny's on the pitch, he's got more energy and he's got more about him than what Jorginho. For me, I mean, I could be completely wrong, right? And he can play.
No. I agree, but the fact that we've come, the fact that we're 2 months into the season and we're already suggesting the possibility of Elneny in midfield shows how poor of a window we've had.
But then at the same time, though, Sauls, if we play Elneny in that position, that's not solving our creativity problems.
This is the reason I slightly disagree with how people are talking about Declan Rice going forward. I don't think Declan Rice going forward is an issue. So what you do is you put Elneny in the lone 6. You allow Declan Rice to kind of play in the left pivot for me, and well, you need Odegaard to come back really to play.
I'm not saying that Declan Rice going forward is an issue.
Let Curran jump in because he kickstarted this whole conversation.
What I'm saying is Declan
Curran,
Rice.
Did you send me the links?
No, I've got it on my
Declan
PC,
Rice
so
excels more
when I'm
doing the mopping up work
in
midfield.
Let Curran share what he's got to share.
No, let Brandon finish because I want to make sure everyone gets their points out because I'm going to speak for like a good 2-3 minutes. So everyone get this point.
I'm not saying that Declan Rice going forward is an issue because I do think he can do that. but I just don't think he excels in that role. I think he excels more being the person who mops up, sweeps up, does all of that. Like, look at him, for example, in the first half against Tottenham, right? The reason why we had so much control in that midfield and they only had possession in their half was because every single time they tried to break on us, Declan Rice was there sweeping up, winning
So
the ball
good.
back. And that's why I think he's more suited to that 6 role than what he is the 8 role. I think if you take him out of there, then we'll also start to see holes defensively in our midfield as well.
Karen, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So, right, let's have a look. Let's get this up. Right. It's in the background.
Should I add your screen to the...
Yeah, add it, please. So, yeah, I mean, I know everyone's going to get a bit annoyed because it's, oh, look at the tactics board, etc. But, yeah. So, basically, what we have here is Newcastle press high. So, say Saliba has the ball here. Right? Saliba, they'll press here, they'll press the passing it. And what they'll do is they'll double up on Jorginho, and they try to nick the ball back. How many times did we see Jorginho get the ball nicked back off him? And then what will happen is they'll leave this space free because they know we can't get the ball to Havertz, and there's no one in this space. So we tried constantly to move everyone to the right and have the ball go from left to right. Gabriel switches or try to play the ball Tomiyasu to Havertz and get the long balls in or whatever. But the fact is, there's no one in this space because Declan has to go here, and he also has to go here. And he was doing that all game. This way, up, this way, up, this way, up, this way, up, this way, up. And literally, against a Newcastle press, you saw after 85 minutes, that guy gassed. He gassed. He couldn't take it because literally they were on him because Jorginho was getting double teamed and he was getting the ball basically stolen off him, or we'd have to pass it back. And then when we pass it back, we'd have Declan having to go wide. And then still there's no one in this space. So even if we get the ball here, or we get the ball here, or we get the ball even here, there's no one in this space here. And there's just Havertz here. And Saka, and they weren't making it stick. Havertz wasn't making it stick. And Nketiah tried to pull over, and they were trying to do this whole Saka on the inside and try Havertz on the wide. But constantly you'd see them just literally target Jorginho play it back, we'd have to go wide and then recycle again. And again, there's no one in the spaces where you can say, okay, say Tomiyasu is here, right? We can actually get the ball into Tomiyasu, the defender comes in, Martinelli goes wide, and you can isolate the fullback wide. Here, we literally were just having our fullbacks, our wingers would just go 2-on-1 every time.
Question. I've got a question for you, Kura.
Of course you can.
I totally agree. Now that you've broken it down like that, I totally agree with what you're saying. So then the question has to be on the manager then. Why is it
100%?
Why is it we kept going to that right half space? Why didn't he tell Havertz to move into that left half space?
He did in the second half.
Let's be honest, right? Yeah, let's be honest. If there's one thing that Dan Burn excels at, it's winning aerial duels.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to pin Havertz up against Dan Burn on the left-hand side. Surely you'd have been better off moving Havertz out to the left, getting him to win his aerial duels against Kieran Trippier, and then getting Martinelli into the game.
Would we have been better off to start, a midfield of Kai Havertz, Fabio Vieira, and Declan Rice?
No.
That stinks. That stinks.
No.
Oh, my Lord.
I'll tell you why. It's because basically you're asking Fabio Vieira to do...
to be good at football.
No, forget. All right. You'd be asking him to be. You're asking him to be in this area on the left, on here, and he'd be constantly They tried to do the same that they did to Jorginho.
Well, would they not switch? Would Fabio Vieira not be the right side of playing?
Zinchenko have started?
No, Zinchenko should not have started. Zinchenko, if he was going to start, the solution, right? The solution for me, anyway, was to really. For me, I agree with the El Nani thing. I think if you're going to do this, you're going to have to play two 6-8s in the middle of the park, have everyone in the front line go forward, and push everyone 5v4 at the front line. So everyone is here. You have And the other thing is Ben didn't overlap enough. If
He
Ben was on
hasn't.
the overlap, then you have a 3v2. You have Kai Havertz here, and then you have basically you have a 3v2 because their back line is a 4. Then you have Kai going in and tracking the box, Saka in the half space, and then Ben White outside, and you can combine inside, and you can get people in the box. We weren't getting people in the box, so this is the other thing. So
this is
and
also
when we were
why we're too one-dimensional, because we're constantly trying to go down that Saka side. Look at all that space that's up there on the left.
yes,
Then it's down to the manager to say, cool, we're not getting in down this right-hand side. Tomiyasu, pull wide. Yeah?
yes,
And do the traditional left back roll up and down.
or even right, Tomiyasu be in the channel and have Marcelli wide and having them arrive in the middle. But Tomiyasu wasn't aggressive enough going into the final third. And the other thing is we were, even if we were going to have him being aggressive, we weren't getting the ball out of this area here in the middle. We weren't getting the ball out of the middle. If you get the ball out of the middle, right, and you progress the ball through the lines, it was literally Declan trying to carry the ball out again and again and again.
He was doing a good job of it. He was actually doing a good job of it.
He was doing a great job of it, but the fact is, right, you can't just
not enough movement from Nketiah as well when he was making.
He's gonna burn out.
He was not just he was going to burn out. It's not something sustainable because people are going to put tackles in that you're going to get dispossessed. So it's not something you can rely on. You have to be able to get into angles where you can create through the block, get through the lines, and just get through from your end of the pitch, the other end of the pitch, as quickly as you can through the middle of the pitch. And we weren't able to do that. And this is why I struggle with this.
The other issue is, right, I think
Sevilla. For Sevilla, would you go El Neni?
No, I would. It depends on if Ødegaard's fit or not. If Ødegaard's fit, play Rice, Ødegaard, Havertz, and have Ødegaard be the left centre mid. That's the only way.
One thing I actually noticed, and one thing I've been noticing, I wanted to point out, one thing that's actually changed a lot of our tactics. You genuinely don't see it if you're not at the game. Yeah, David Raya, he's got a thing. He's really good at claiming crosses. He's really good at catching the ball. But one thing he's got is he's so slow at moving it out. Like when we're playing Newcastle, like you've already mentioned, they were doubling up on these wingers. Yeah, now, I'm at the game on Sunday. You can see the pitch. Yeah, Martinelli and Saka were getting starved of any kind of space on the wing. Yeah. There's times David Raya's getting the ball, Martinelli, he's off, he's literally give me the ball, and Raya's just there just taking hours. That one thing about Aaron Ramsdale is people always complain he's a bit erratic, he's a bit I can't I've come to realize in a goalkeeper I feel like David Raya's almost a bit too not composed, but almost like he's so slow and composed. He's almost too complacent. It's almost.
But then, how much of that is Arteta's tactics? Arteta telling him to do that?
I don't know. But then at the same time, Raya has got a kick on him. I've been at Emirates and Ramsdale caught the ball and he's.
I also see a video.
In terms of the whole David Raya Ramsdale thing, the whole David Raya signing, the whole way they dressed it up. Oh, he'll help us with our playing out from the back. There was never an issue with Ramsdale's playing out from the back. That was his best attribute of anything. Yeah, Ramsdale's kicking's unreal. I think it's actually better than David Raya since he's come in. I don't think Raya shot stopping's anywhere near as good as Ramsdale's. I think the only thing Raya's better at is catching the ball, maybe, and even that I never really saw a real problem.
The David Raya Ramsdale conversation is not our. Is not.
No, 100%. It doesn't make sense to talk about that after this game. But I was just mentioning it in relation to the fact he was talking about how they were doubling up on our wingers. Our wingers were getting no space. Our wingers were getting space at times, but you wouldn't have seen it. But Martinelli and Saka were in at times, hands in the air, screaming for the ball, and Raya's just not giving it.
You know what annoys me, right? That's David Raya's biggest strength at Brentford, hitting the channels. And all of a sudden, he's come in. But I'm saying at Brentford, I know obviously we haven't seen it, but when you see him, when he hits it up to Mbumbo, when he hits it up to Ivan Toney, when he was hitting it up to Whistler and stuff, he had a good channel hitting. But the problem is we've not seen it enough, and especially that's probably what Arteta brought him in to do, but he doesn't seem to be doing enough of it.
I don't think so though, Sauls, because I see a video couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who was playing now, and Raya kicked it long, and Arteta went absolutely nutty on the sideline because he kicked it long.
Yeah,
So
I don't think he
I
likes
think
it.
it comes down to managers'
Potentially,
tactics.
yeah.
He's so
In that case,
Potentially.
you play, for me, then you play Ramsdale.
Guys, before we go any further, I just want to know, do you guys feel like this whole goalkeeper situation has just made it more annoying for us and not really affects the team? Or do you think it affects the confidence of the goalkeepers?
It's just
Well,
annoying.
I've got to a point where it's like I've come to realise, yeah, both goalkeepers have their faults, and neither of them are world class. They're two good goalkeepers with strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, like I've been so like desperate to see Ramsdale come in. Like I've been so desperate to see him come back into the team, and then we play West Ham last Wednesday, and it's half time. I'm in the concourse at West Ham. And I see Ramsdale's dad, so I go and chill with let's have a word with Ramsdale's dad. I'm having a drink, yeah. And then before I leave, I was like, "Oh, second half starting now." Shake his hand and I go, listen, I want to see him back in the team soon. He's like, yeah, of course, me too. I'm like, I think he's a better goalkeeper. I walk back to my seat. He's punching the ball into his own net from like the edge of the area. It's like, what? Like, you can't even. It's hard to defend either of them. Like, both of them
I
have got their...
seen Poet tweeted that we have 2 number 2 keepers. I think that's hard.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I just don't really care anymore. Like genuinely, like I've talked about it so much. Like it's just.
I
like,
just want it sorted. If we get rid of
we
one
have
of them,
bigger issues, right? They're
I
much
think if
bigger
we get rid of one of them, it's better for the club harmony.
I don't
But
really
we
care.
won't. Right, here's the thing, yeah. Guaranteed Ramsdale leaves because there's no way that we turn down the 27 million option to buy. It's just too awkward. It doesn't happen. We've been given the option. They're going to take that option. Arteta's going to take that option. Guy's Spanish. Like Arteta's he's paying that money. So then Ramsdale's got to make a decision on whether or not he's leaving.
Ramsdale could be gone in January. Would you guys tell January? Would you guys tell Ramsdale in January if it meant it freed up funds to go get a striker or a midfielder?
100%. 100%.
I'd pay the 30 million for Raya and then try and sell him on for more. Quick change. I'd keep Ramsdale.
I heard there's.
I don't think there's any point. I don't think there's any point.
Yeah, there's no
it's
point
not going to happen, is it?
Because at the end of the day, Aaron
Bro,
Ramsdale.
apparently there's an offer on the table from a Premier League club.
Well, good for
If we're
that.
going
Whoever
to go in
reported
January and we're going to invest that money in
It was
midfield
the
or
BBC
striker,
Sport.
fine.
Who?
BBC Sport reported it.
Good for BBC Sport. It's just not happening.
You don't want Ramsdale gone.
It's not even that. It's just genuinely. Why would we sell in January? It doesn't make any sense. Like if we were going to, because the thing is,
though, Curran, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I understand that.
We might be able to get more than we would in open market in summer.
Brothers, we're going to have to sign another number 2, and then another under, and then another. We're going to have to sign another keeper. Then everyone says, "Well,
yeah." It is.
Well, I'm saying,
I did see reports that they would not entertain selling him in January, though. But hey, let's move on to the final topic, right? And the final topic of the day. Forget about the Newcastle game is done. We move on, right? Now, people are doing this thing where they're writing off Arsenal already. It's way too soon to be writing off Arsenal. I generally don't think this team I think this team can find form. We can galvanize ourselves. We can get together as a team and kick on from here. I've seen teams do it before. I've seen teams turn around seasons. I've seen teams have situations where they felt like they were down and out and they came back and they did great things. Let's be honest. Last year, people thought City were terrible. We've seen league title campaigns with teams in the past. Arsenal's invincibles. People thought we started off the season with a couple of draws. People were making jokes. We ended up going on invincible. Chelsea and Manchester United were the 2 guys that were supposed to be the favorites to win it. These things happen in funny ways. League titles are not won in 11 games; they're won in 38 games. And I think it's crazy, Brendan. People are saying this team is not good enough. This team is dead. People are making jokes, obviously, but the analyzation I'm hearing from pundits, from journalists, from our own fans, from rival fans, is that Arsenal this season, it's already they've seen enough evidence to write us off.
I've got to say, I love your faith, yeah, and I love the whole fact that you're behind it. But from in a general feeling and opinion of mine, we ain't winning the league this season. We're not.
I think we've got a better chance of winning the Champions League, and that says a lot.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think if we're gonna go and win anything, it'll probably be the Champions League. If we can,
And even that sounds ridiculous.
get a decent draw. It sounds ridiculous, but that would be the easier one to win because it's knockout football. If you get a,
we're built
decent
better
draw.
for knockout football as well. There's
No,
only this team.
Not in
if I
Europe.
was to
Not
tell
in
you,
Europe.
1 second. So I
Let me
want to
know-
know where
yeah,
you guys.
did last
one
season we
second.
went 100%.
Before we hear everyone's points, where do you guys stand on this? Is it too soon, or are you already writing off the season?
Don't
It's
really
not
care.
too soon because well, the thing is, it's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing the same football I'm seeing last season, and when I look at it, how am I going to see the same football I was seeing last season? I need Havertz out of the team, which is not going to happen because Arteta spent 65 million and he's going to keep playing him. We need Partey back, but he's just never fit. We need Jesus up there. We need Jesus up front, linking it up so that we can have that movement with him and Martinelli and Saka that catches people off guard. Like when we're playing Newcastle the other night, for example, these are the wingers. Eddie's the striker. It's not hard for Newcastle to lock that off. But when you got Martinelli and Jesus doing this and blah blah blah, it's carnage, and it flows much nicer.
No, but
I want to see that back. But
You don't get that without
it's
the
about
people
seeing
in
that back. I
midfield.
think that the state of the team at the minute it's a state. Like it's a state. The midfield stinks right now. Like in fullback areas, I just feel like there's just no like. It's just not flowing like it is last season. Up front, like Eddie had scored a hat trick against Sheffield, but like.
Who cares?
There's 2 points to this, right? There's 2 points to this. And the reason why I say we're not winning the league is because, number one, if you look at the results that we've had this season, people will say, oh, but we've only lost 1 game and we were still unbeaten if it weren't for VAR and Pgmol and all that crap, right?
Pgmol did not pick that.
Right? The fact and reality is, if you look at it from a wider perspective, right? We beat Newcastle at St James's Park last season. We lost there this season. We beat Fulham at home last season. We drew there this season. We beat Tottenham at home last season. We drew there this season. We beat we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last season. We drew there this season. So already we've dropped points in games that last season we would have won. And we didn't win the league last season because it wasn't enough. So where are we picking up this points total? That's number one. Number two is, do you trust the club to go out and address the positions that we need in January?
Nope.
We need a striker, and it's got to be a top striker as well. So even if we say we're going for somebody like Ivan Toney, you're looking at £60 million. And we definitely 100% need an answer to this left 8 role. If he's not gonna put Zinchenko out there, Havertz isn't the answer, Fabio Vieira isn't the answer, Emil Smith-Rowe isn't the answer. So we're looking, hang on a go. So we're looking at a £100 million plus January transfer window to address these 2 situations. Will Arsenal go and do it? I don't think they will.
Okay. Before I get to Souls and Curran, because I'm going to let them go next on this, I just want to tell you guys a big reason in why everyone is questioning Arsenal right now and is saying we haven't looked so good. Can we not take into a fact we have some injuries and we've been playing some tougher opponents? Now, Manchester City, we beat them, and it was a tough game. And guess what? We didn't look our best in it, but we still won the game. It was never going to be an easy game versus Man City. Then you go to the Chelsea game. It was a cagey draw. We were terrible to start. We came back into it, some goalkeeping mistakes. The game against Sevilla, we won that game. Everyone was gassed. We beat Sheffield United. Everyone's happy. Everything's back on normal. We kind of forgot about the Chelsea game. I felt like the West Ham game and the Newcastle loss back to back has dropped heads.
And Lens. And losing to Lens.
Forget about Lens. I'm not counting that in because I feel like people have kind of gone past that. I think the situation of losing back-to-back games, getting knocked out of the League Cup and losing to Newcastle in quick succession, forgetting the fact that Odegaard didn't play against Newcastle, forgetting the fact that we have injuries, forgetting the fact that people are looking at the whole season in a whole. We have not looked, I agree, we have not looked good attacking-wise. We have not been our best.
Well, let me explain it a different way.
When we're comparing last season to this season, we had a really good start to the season last year. And I would say it was always going to be hard to replicate that. It was always going to be difficult to do what we did last season because we were going to catch teams off guard last year. This year, we're a known commodity. People are going to respect us more, and these things are going to happen. Every top team has to find ways to evolve. We're trying to evolve. What's to say we don't click into gear later in the season, Man City-esque? I know there's no evidence because we haven't done it in the past, but the reality is we can. Any team that buying new players or evolving their midfield or bringing in new pieces is going to take time. We were just lucky.
Let me explain it
that last year. There
was
no click. There was no time that needed to be clicked. We just worked right away.
Let me explain it a different way.
Yeah.
Look, take the results out of the equation completely, because I don't think it's the fact that we've lost 2 games. I think it's the fact that we haven't performed well all season, and now these performances are starting to catch up with us. There's only so many times you're going to get away with creating minimal chances in a game and taking minimal chances. In the West Ham game, we was awful, and we only had 1 shot on target or 2 shots on target all game. And then in the Newcastle game, we was awful and we only had 1 shot on target. And the problem is it kind of coincides with the performance. Like, we've gotten away with it in certain games this season, and there's only so many times that can keep happening before the performances need to improve in order for us to have the confidence to say, yeah, we can pick up results now. Whereas now, I even look at, like, I mean, we got Burnley at the weekend. That should be 3 points. I don't care what anybody says. But if we say come up against, I don't know, a mid-table, let's say we come up against a Brighton, I can't go into that game and say, performing how we are, that I'm confident we can go there and win. Whereas last season, when we was going into games like that, I was sitting there saying, yeah, we're winning this game.
Bro, last year, we had lower expectations. So when we're winning, we're like, wow, this is amazing. This season, expectations are so high. 1 second. This season, expectations are so high that any drop points, we're fuming. Don't forget, last year we got knocked out by Brighton.
The performance season, the football was unreal. The football was beautiful last season. The football this season,
the performance went alongside it.
Yes, and I already explained why. It was much more open pitches. We were not facing as much defensive teams. I don't feel like defensive against us. I don't feel like teams.
No.
I really don't.
Teams were definitely defensive against us, yeah, but we were breaking them down because, like I said, we were unpredictable. Yeah, like you mentioned, we were unpredictable. I get to an extent that we've had injuries. I understand. I can appreciate that. I think if I put out our strongest 11 right now, I think we don't lose. We wouldn't have lost a game this season with that strongest 11. I don't think we would. I think we would have.
What was our first team last season? Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crystal Palace away. That team, taking out Xhaka for Rice and you take out Zinchenko for Timber, like that team, I don't think loses a game at the season. But my problem, having said that, is that we haven't addressed the fact that if that isn't available, what have we got to back it up? And we haven't got anything. Because when you actually look at the window we got rid of Granit Xhaka, a starting 11 player, and brought in a starting 11 player, yeah? We added a backup goalkeeper, so just another player on the bench, yeah? We signed Kai Havertz. We signed Jurian Timber. That strengthened the left-back position. And that's about it. We strengthened 1 position on the pitch, 2, you could say, with the goalkeeper. Apart from that,
what, guys, we're gonna have to give Curran and Souls a chance to speak on this topic before we wrap up. But I'm just gonna show you guys. I agree. Last season we started off well, and you can see here we scored 4 goals versus Leicester. We scored 2 goals versus Crystal Palace, 3 versus Bournemouth, and we're on fire. We were just scoring goals at will. We were doing well for the majority of the season up until where we faced our first major dip. Where was that? Even when we dropped points against Southampton, we lost to PSV, and then people were kind of freaking out, but then we smashed Nottingham Forest. So it was like we were scoring goals last season. I get that. But at the end of the day, I feel like our expectations were so low last year that we're gonna feel like that was amazing. Right now, expectations are higher, where we're more like less lenient on any
Forget
drop
the
points.
goals, right? Most of them games that you just named, they was done by half time. Like we'd already.
That's true, because
won
the
the
way
game
we
by
played
half time.
last season, we played different. But you know what? Let these guys jump in because I want to wrap this segment up. What are you saying, Curran?
I don't genuinely, in terms of writing us off, not writing us off. Look, the fact is that we sustained a historic level the first half of last season, 50 points off 19 games. That was a ridiculous start, right? To get to that point again, to start would have been another ridiculous start. The fact is we've lost 1 game we've drawn 2, and we've won the rest. I mean, I don't think that as I'm still
Drawn three.
So drawn 3. Thank you. I think what was I saying? Yeah, I think the performances are worrying. I still think that there's a lot to look to improve on, but I also do think the problems aren't exactly the most hard to figure out. It's just that the fact is will he do it? If he does this, if he just puts Odegaard left into mid, Odegaard will drop. He'll figure out how to get the ball out through the middle of the pitch, and we'll get through the lines, and everything will look so much cleaner. I promise you. Like if it doesn't, call me out. Legit, come on Twitter and tell me I'm wrong. Genuinely, because what Odegaard does is his ability to actually solve problems in the middle of the pitch, advance the ball up the pitch, and then be a bit more of a problem solver, and fill a lane on the left-hand side, which we weren't filling it last time. That's what he does so well. And Declan do what he was doing, Odegaard's role, as well as be the duel winner, someone to pick up the ball, make those sprints to get the ball back. It's like he was playing 2 players' roles in one guy. So I'm not worried, because honestly, I don't know. If we had started like last season, then fair enough. We're 3 points off top. Like genuinely, if I was going to complain now, I understand the performances are off, but you've got to look at it and think, look, we've still got a lot to come. I'm hearing now Partey is injured to the end of the calendar year. That's another injury to talk about. So, yeah.
Who?
I mean, Partey. So
yeah, you already know about
Partey won't play for Arsenal again, bro. Mark my word.
I just think it's forget Mark. I genuinely, I don't care about what.
I would get rid of him, bro.
Like genuinely, I've always said this. The thing is, the problem isn't the 8; it's the fact that we're having 2 players. We need another player who's able to access the center of the pitch. I don't care if it's a 6 or an 8. If it's a 6, move rise to the 8. If it's an 8, move rise to the 6. Doesn't matter. What happens is that pivot has to be 2 men who could win the ball back and get the ball through the middle of the pitch. That's the
guys? I wanted to wrap this up before 8 o'clock, but I kind of feel like we went over. Yo, Souls, I was gonna ask you to just end off this topic, but give me your quick score prediction for the Sevilla game also. Yo, you're on mute, bro. It's good. Is he there?
You're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
1-0.
1-0? Arsenal.
Yeah, I can never predict us to lose, but yeah, I'm not confident.
And Souls, you're one of the people who've written us off this season, right? You're like, we're not good enough.
I haven't written us off. I said I want Arteta to trust his goddamn process, because right now he ain't trusting nothing. He told me to trust it. I trusted it. Now you trust it. But he ain't trusting it, so like, what do you want me to do? It's up to the players to make me trust it. Right now, all they've done is all the faith I had in them, they're trying to be like, you know what, screw you, Souls. I know you believed in us. And by the way, I have never called Arteta out up until now. I know a lot of Arteta inners who have called him out, more than I've called him out. But yeah, for some reason, I'm the negative one. All I'm doing is questioning whether he trusts his goddamn process, because this 25-man squad is his. If El Nenny's the goddamn solution, if ESR's the solution, if Fabio Vieira needs to play in goalkeeper, you do whatever the hell you need to do. This is your team. What do they have? Like, what do you have nudes on them that you can't play them or something? Like, what is going on here? Like, what is genuinely going on? Why is Trossard not playing? Why are you not willing to take a risk? This is the thing, right? One thing that I loved about Arteta is he galaxy-brained everything. He made it seem like there was a solution for every problem. This season, the guy is the problem, and that's what I'm having a problem with.
Fair enough. You know what? We're going to wrap it up here, guys. Everyone, what's your score predictions for Sevilla? Souls? I mean, you already gave yours. 1-0 Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. Hopefully, we can keep a clean sheet and score some goals.
Is it home, by the way? Just
yeah. We've already played
confidence performance. Curran, you go into the game? What are you saying?
I'm not sure. We'll see. But in terms of the score prediction, I think we'll win fairly easily. They don't have Ramos. We walked at their place under their environment. I think 2-0, maybe 3. We'll see. But I don't think we'll be that. It'll be like when we played that PSV game and everyone was sort of like a bit nervous and everything going into it, and then we just settle down and get into our game, and it goes fairly easily. So
I
Yeah, I'm
hope
not
so, Corinne. I hope so.
I hope so. I hope that's the case. I can't see that being the case. I think Wednesday night could be one of those really miserable nights, but I hope it's not the case. I mean, the Sevilla game, like, yeah, it's a game we have to win, but realistically, right now, like in terms of like you mentioned before, you know, do we trust whatnot? The game I really Brentford next week is the real. Forget Burnley, we'll wipe them and everyone will be happy. But Brentford away next week, the team have just beaten West Ham at home, who spanked us out of the cup. Yeah, Brentford. Are we going to manage at Brentford? Are we going to? Because I don't know. That's the one I'm really looking to right now. Because Sevilla, I think
Can David Roy play that game?
I don't know.
Yes,
I
he
actually
can play
don't know.
that game.
You can play that game, yeah. Because
Okay.
like I said, I think we'll beat Sevilla. I think we will. I think I've got a feeling we won't, but I think we should beat Sevilla. Burnley will wipe, but in terms of looking at like you said right now, we're assessing the team and assessing where we're at and what's actually going on the pitch. I think the next test of where we're at is really Brentford, and that game right now I can't see us winning that too easily. But yeah, that's for Sevilla and Burnley. I think we wipe both of them. To be honest, I think we beat both.
All right, what are you saying, Brendan? What's your score prediction for the Sevilla game?
I'm going 1-1. I don't think we will beat them. I think people are forgetting we've got Eddie and Nketiah playing up front. I think people are forgetting that we're going to have to play a midfield pivot of Jorginho and Kai Havertz again.
Don't forget, they have basically.
Yeah, I'm stepping out my house on Havertz, Jorginho.
Don't forget, they have 4 35-years-olds as their defenders.
It don't matter. We've got Eddie and Nketiah. He's basically a 70-year-old.
Doesn't matter.
They haven't got Ramos.
When you look at the first game,
Ramos not starting no more.
He's injured.
He's injured. When you look at the first game, even though we went 2-0 up, when they got it back to 2-1, there was uncomfortable moments there for us. So I look at it and I think it's going to be a closer game than what people think. I think people expect us to wipe the floor with Sevilla, but I don't think we will. And then I'm going to be very interested to see if Arteta can finally get Arsene Wenger out of his head and start making substitutions before the 70th fucking minute. That'd be nice.
You know what? I think we'll leave it up. We'll leave it there. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Big up everyone. I think Dylan dropped out somehow. Have a good one, guys. We're out of here. Love for the love. Big up Curran for coming on, Brendan for coming on, Souls for coming on, Curran for Dylan for coming on, and everyone for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. We're out of here. Peace.